In the early 2000s, the physical core of the Best Buy retail empire existed within a sprawling, sterile room kept at a constant, freezing temperature. Inside, towering black server racks form claustrophobic aisles where thousands of LEDs blink in a relentless, mechanical rhythm. These machines were hardwired directly to every single cash register in the country. This direct connection meant a single technical hiccup inside this room caused an instant catastrophic loss of revenue across every store in the chain. In an environment with zero margin for error, the pressure magnifies the intensity of every human interaction happening within these walls. Alan Hill arrived in this environment carrying a rigid, binary worldview. In any situation, there is a right and a wrong. Since Alan was certain he was right, it followed that everyone else was inherently wrong. This belief dictated his every action, broadcasting a palpable arrogance that his team could feel, even when he didn't say a word. This created immediate friction with the IT contractors, who pushed back against Alan with a persistent negative attitude. To Alan, the solution was simple and clinical. He frequently looked at the wall-mounted phone, knowing he could call the account manager and replace half his team with a single conversation. When a leader operates under the strict binary of right and wrong, the people they lead are reduced to disposable obstacles. Kara, the data center manager, operated on an entirely different set of principles. She prioritized the well-being of the people in the room over the rigid dictates of the process. While Alan saw interchangeable contractors, Kara saw her people. She felt a personal, profound responsibility for every person on the team. Because of the way corporate accountability was structured, any failure or disruption caused by Alan's team would fall on Kara's shoulders. She would be the one forced to explain the mess to the elite corporate engineers. Alan realized that firing the team to satisfy his own sense of rightness would leave Kara vulnerable. He dropped his hand away from the phone, choosing to follow her lead to ensure she wouldn't have to take the fall. This wasn't a change of heart brought about by a new management theory. It was a choice driven by a sense of protective loyalty to a leader who actually cared. As Alan spent more time observing the contractors, he noticed they were following an unspoken social contract, the belief that if you work hard, keep your head down, and stay loyal, you will eventually be rewarded. Alan viewed this as the pyramid, the pretense that those at the top hold all the power, while those at the bottom hold none. This structure relies on force. It is an exhaustible, top-down pressure that requires a constant stream of expendable effort to maintain order. In contrast, true power functions like gravity. It is a constant, shared influence that exists regardless of rank. It frustrated Alan that his team held the ultimate leverage, the reliable support the corporate office needed to stay solvent, yet they continued to act as if they were powerless at the base of a pyramid. When a team believes they are at the bottom of a hierarchy, they operate from a place of defensive friction, constantly waiting to be crushed by the weight above them. Alan finally left the phone behind and stepped into the freezing server aisle to work alongside the contractor he had nearly replaced. They worked in the cold air in total silence, their movements falling into a rhythmic, mechanical coordination as the cables began locking into place. As they worked, the distinction between Alan's right way and the contractor's wrong attitude began to dissolve. Alan was doing his job. The contractor was doing his. The old binary of I'm right, you're wrong was replaced by a more complex reality. I'm right, and you're right too. If two people can both be right and yet the system still feels broken, the source of the problem must lie somewhere else entirely. Alan looked at the gap of freezing air flowing from the floor vents between his body and the contractors. If the fault wasn't in him, and it wasn't in the person standing across from him, it had to exist within that void. This is the space between, the invisible architecture where unstated expectations and conflicting systems of belief collide to generate friction. Solving a systemic breakdown requires looking past the individuals involved to identify the clashing beliefs hidden in the empty space between them.